I was concerned because the space was very decrepit.
She created a slander page. It has over 1,000 likes. There's constant pictures of my ex-wife, which I have no idea how she even got that. I've had people threaten me.
Extortion and fraud are crimes. People can go to jail for extortion.
Yes, and he is a career criminal.
That's not true, Your Honor.
Plaintiff Taylor Caldwell claims she hired the defendant to help with her documentary. Then he demanded extra money to hand over her videos. She's suing for $3,115. Defendant Langston Bowen claims the plaintiff didn't want to pay the full amount due, then defamed him online, costing him thousands. He's countersuing for $5,000.
Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. The Honorable Judge Jerry Springer now presiding. Good morning, Judge.
Morning, Najee.
This is case number 011 on the docket, Caldwell versus Bowen.
Welcome to both of you. We have the plaintiff, Ms. Taylor Caldwell.
Yes.
And you are suing the defendant, Langston Bowen, for $3,115 for extortion and failure to complete her documentary. And you are countersuing for $5,000 for defamation.
Correct.
Okay, so let me hear from you first.
I'm a graduate student at the University of Connecticut.
Okay.
I decided I wanted to create a documentary that focused on Black womanhood in the United States and how it is portrayed and interpreted. I wrote the original screenplay. I did the initial research and all of the behind-the-scenes work that goes into creating a documentary.
Yes.
But I lack the ability and skills to actually film it myself. So I was sourcing prospective videographers in Connecticut that could film my project, and I found Langston on Facebook. The aesthetic I was going for was something that was more woodsy and kind of airy and ethereal for my documentary. So the defendant was responsible for filming the initial two episodes.
When you said you hired a videographer, what is the responsibility of a videographer? I mean, obviously, the camera work, right?
Right.
So what did you expect him to do?
I put together the scenes, so I already had the scenes in mind. I just needed him to film it. I bought the props myself,
Okay.
And I did the setup. I just
the
needed him
film,
to film
and
it.
then give you the film, and you can figure out how.
And
exactly.
no, I expected him also to edit it and yeah.
Well, that's a different job than a videographer.
But he agreed to edit as well. So he was going to film and edit the piece.
Okay.
And put it together. So it was just a few segments of film that was going to be compiled with some YouTube clips to highlight certain topics I talked about that address modern issues and concerns. So I wanted to use popular news media clips that were going to be taken from YouTube. And
Okay.
put in
Now, what is the problem? What is the basis of the suit?
I reached out to him in December. We filmed in October. I paid him initially $1,400 as a deposit. Each episode was going to be 15 minutes long. And that was with editing and all the narration and video included.
And you paid $1,400 for
Yeah,
a
because
14-minute episode?
He said he wanted $100 a minute.
All right, so that was for a 15-minute piece.
Two 15-minute episodes. There were two 15-minute episodes. And so the project in its entirety was going to be $3,000.
So it was going to be 30 minutes, right? 15 and 15?
Yes, but when we went to go and record the audio of the screenplay, because we filmed the visuals before we recorded the audio.
Yes.
And when we went to go record the audio of the screenplay read over 15 minutes each on each episode. I asked him, can I preview the work that you have so far, the videos? And he told me no, not until I sent him more money through Cash App. And he said I couldn't preview the content and I couldn't look at it. I said, can we meet in person so I can see the content? And he said no. And I said, can I have an invoice for the services rendered? He said no, not until I sent him more money.
You had already sent him how much?
I had already sent him $1,400.
What do you have to say about that?
In regards to the whole scope of the project, specifically, we had agreed to doing 12 to 15-minute videos per episode. $1,400 that she had given me was a down payment or a deposit that is for the first half of the payment for that piece. From that point on, we had obviously a serious disagreement. I tried to convince her to, again, keep bringing it down. Let's try and get this down to what we were talking about initially.
And what you wound up paying him was $2,900?
Yes.
And that $2,900 was going to cover 30 minutes.
So what happens is after that point where I'm trying to bring it down and say, hey, let's whittle this down, she eventually decides that she wants to terminate our agreement. She wants to change the terms, otherwise she's terminating. So I wasn't going to do double the work because she said, let's just bring it up to 30 minutes then. And I'm like, that's going to mean that I'm doing 30 minutes of the edited video when we decided on 15. So from that point on, she goes and says, all right, I no longer want to work with you any longer, and I want to have the raw footage of the audio, the raw footage of the video sent to me. And I was like, well, you didn't pay for raw footage. You paid for a 15-minute edited down video, in which I go and say, if you would like to have that, you can pay, have a media release for that.
I would like to interject that at the time that we actually filmed the audio was separate from when we initially filmed the visuals. And when we filmed the audio, I started to question the integrity and ability of Langston to produce quality work because he was recording in his grandfather's attic in the middle of the woods. The space of the studio was very decrepit. This is actually court documented because he's not allowed to have his children in his grandfather's house because it was determined by the court that it was unfit for children. And he had just the microphone plugged up to the computer with a cardboard box.
Had you already done the video?
We had already done the video, and so this was just the audio. So I was already concerned because when we came to the set, all Langston had was a DSLR camera and a tripod. And so we're recording a docuseries. We're doing videography. I was questioning the integrity of the product that's going to be produced.
For the money that she put in for $2,900, she is entitled to what?
She's entitled to me showing up to the shoot. That is what it is. For anybody who's booked a session for any kind of video.
But she's not entitled to the product you already made.
Correct, because that's only for a deposit.
There is a video that you physically have now or have access to?
Yes, we do have a video.
For the $3,000 that
yes,
you paid?
we have the $3,000 video. These are segmented clips that I have on my Google Drive.
Raw files.
10-second files that I paid $3,000 for after he charged me for a $1,500 media release fee that he doesn't have on his website. And I've spoken to his other clients, and they said they never were charged a media release fee to view the content that they paid him for.
Let's see the video.
So as you can see, it's a little shaky because he was holding it with his hands. And then I was obstructed by a tree. So this wasn't a good shot.
Good is all subjective, Your Honor.
And
at the end of the day, she's paying for my
it's
expertise,
out of focus, and then
my
it's
creative.
panning and it's out of focus. And then you're going to see the tripod on the left, and it's very blurry. That doesn't look like a $3,000 video.
It's a setting shot at the end of the day. None of this is edited down. This is all
You
raw.
couldn't edit
There's
the
no color
focus.
grading. There is no clipping.
It's
There's
raw.
nothing.
Okay, that
It's
much
raw
I do know.
footage.
It's raw footage.
It's
This
raw
is
Of course,
footage.
but you can't edit the focus. And I've also reached out to
can.
other photographers in Connecticut, and they've also said that he just started this, and he's poor at focusing, and he's poor at editing his content.
So
and
what
I
we
also
have
I have a comparative video that I paid another videographer in Connecticut for, and the quality is extremely superior to the quality that Langston produced.
In the business world, when you make a decision to hire someone to produce something, in the end, you may not be happy with what you purchased or the quality. You hired him. It was your decision to hire him. You looked and decided to hire him. You're not happy with the product. You don't have to continue with him.
Right.
But you do have to pay for what he already performed.
But I did, and he admitted that on December 16th.
Well, then that's the $2,900. But
No,
you want
it wasn't
the
the
money back.
$2,900. It was the
$2,900.
$1,400. Let's go to.
For the deposit for me to show up.
No. It was on December
That
16th.
is all.
Langston said
The
that the
recordings.
$1,400 covered the 2 days of audio recording and the 2 days of filming.
Right.
So this is before I told him to cease working on the project.
So you paid the down payment for it.
Yes, I paid the $1,400.
Okay. And now, but he's entitled to be paid the full amount. That's
But
just
he didn't finish the project, so why would I give him
You're telling
full-
him to
full
stop, aren't
payment?
you?
Yeah, I told him to cease working. He said the 2 days of recording were paid for by the deposit and the 2 days of filming.
Going toward or paid for?
Paid for. He said the
Let
deposit
me see
covered
that.
it.
If it says it's paid for, if the terms have changed, then in reality, the amount paid which at that point was $1,400, has been to cover the 2 recording sections of the audio tracking for the first 2 episodes, as well as the 2 separate days of filming. That's where the initial deposit has gone towards. So the cost of those 2 episodes of audio and filming
Yes.
is more than what you put down. What you put down was the deposit for those, because he put.
No, it wasn't a deposit. The deposit
You just
was,
said it was a deposit.
Let me pull up the Cash App receipts, because the deposit was initially $600, and then I paid him weekly in increments. We also didn't have a payment contract. We didn't have this any of this wasn't contracted. So I paid
Verbal
him
contract,
on
Your
September 12th, $600. Then I paid him September 27th, and then we actually filmed on September 28th. 2 days prior to that, Langston was in court with Capital One for $2,900, the exact amount that he asked me for and extorted from me with his $1,500 media
correlation with
release
that.
fee.
There's no
Yeah.
correlation at all.
Extortion is a crime.
Yes, and he is a
this-
career criminal.
No, if he's saying he wants to be paid for something he did.
There is no 14 minutes of content. There's nothing.
What about that?
At the
There's
end-
no content. There's no 30-minute video. There's none of that.
There's well over 14 minutes between the 2 videos that we recorded. However, this was a documentary series, which we know is a collage of sorts for the video world.
Lies.
You have turned over to her everything that you've done.
Yeah.
Whatever
And
it
it
is
was
that
unedited.
you've done. Unedited, yeah.
Correct.
Whatever
Unedited.
it is that you've
Raw footage.
done.
Correct.
Raw footage. What she paid you for it so far, was it also for it to be edited?
No?
Yes, it was. The piece was
No,
supposed
well,
to be edited.
Where is the written evidence that what you had purchased was an edited?
I have a media release form here.
The media
in
release
regards
form he
to
got from Google Images.
The 1,500 for the final 1,500 that she had given me, so that she could use it and take it where she needed to go to from there.
He charged me $1,500 without giving me an invoice. He refused to give me an invoice. I said, can you give me an invoice for the services rendered?
didn't you give
I
her
said I
any-
absolutely could give her an invoice.
No, you didn't. Where's my invoice?
You are countersuing for defamation.
Correct.
What is your evidence on
after
that?
After everything was taken care of, after this media release was already taken care of, she had signed it, and it was all good. The video was uploaded, so she had all of it for both videos. She then, at that point, created a slander page. She was putting in, brackets of her own commentary. She's also contacted the people that I've worked with. She's also contacted my ex-wife, which I have no idea how she even got that contact information.
His ex-wife left a 1-star review on his
Not
Facebook,
to mention-
so I asked her why she left a 1-star review, and
There's
she
been
gave me the
There's been
information.
a GoFundMe account which she tried to recoup the money for, even though I had rendered services.
You didn't render the
There's
services.
constant pictures of my face all over this
Your
GoFundMe
face is already
page,
on the
when I never
internet.
gave her permission to use my likeness in any way, shape, or form. I've had people threaten me in regards to her on her
Okay, here
behalf.
is a Exhibit E that you put out. Langston Bowen is an extortionist and a fraud. I am hoping that I can not only raise awareness about his predatory business dealings, but also garner support from the public and creative community in helping me recuperate the financial loss I incurred dealing with this man.
Yeah.
I understand in today's world of social media, people can comment on everything.
Exactly.
I understand that. But there is a line drawn when you publish, which anybody can see, extortion and fraud are crimes.
And he is.
You may be unhappy with the business dealings, but when you accuse someone of a crime, not of he charged too much, but where the law draws the line is, people can go to jail for extortion. People can get serious criminal fines for fraud. So when you draw that line,
You're right.
that is serious stuff.
Yes, I
I'm
published
telling you,
it
that
because
has consequence.
And I'm entitled to share my experience as a
You're
customer
entitled
because
to share your experience. What you may not be under the law entitled to do is accuse someone of a crime
He
when they haven't been convicted of a crime.
But you can commit a crime without being convicted. I feel like Langston has
He's not a criminal.
But he has predatory practices, and that's why he
Predatory?
Yes, that's why he
Careful
was.
with the
That's why he
language
was sued last week.
I've also lost contracts with people. I was planning to do a graduation, an alumni reunion for my actual both of our former high school, rather.
But that's not just the reason. Not my page isn't the only reason, because it's been unpublished for a few months. I unpublished it and I took it off the internet.
Did you seek him out?
Did I seek him out? I did not. I was not aware of his record before I did business with him.
Okay.
But I was informed
But
January 18th.
you made he didn't seek you, say, come on, give me your business.
But he said he wanted the $1,500 media release fee.
I'm telling you, there is a line to be drawn about what you say about other people that you're angry about. And there is a consequence for doing that. You have to be careful. There are such things as libel and slander. Words matter. He has already suffered some damage by these statements, monetary damage. So you've already injured him. It's not just you're hurting my feelings.
I wasn't the cause of that, because the page has been unpublished for some time.
Yeah, the damage he received was in response to when this was published. Now, having listened to both sides, I am awarding the defendant in his countersuit $1,000 worth of damages, and the plaintiff's case is dismissed.
That essentially, when things are agreed upon, that you have to stick with it, don't change it.
We didn't have a contract. Langston just came over to this camera and lied. But you know, cheaters and liars never prosper.
Hey YouTube, thanks for watching. For more Judge Jerry, click here. For more Jerry Springer, click here.